Yo, welcome back to more Kagetsu Tohya. Last time we had some things that came up. There's like, oh, is there like a doppelganger impersonating Shiki and even turning into a black cat or something? I don't know what's going on, but that's like what it's sounding like. At the very least, who Arihiko ran into is that person, possibly that girl that keeps popping up in Shiki's vision. I don't know why he's seeing that or why he has that connection to her, or even why he's seeing like the end of the world or having these like feelings outside of himself where it's like, this memory isn't mine. Maybe it's her memory, right? Maybe all this is as a result of whatever connection he has with this girl. I have no idea what that could be, but it could be fully tied to her, or it could be something else entirely. I mean, you know, we still don't know why even the loop is happening in the first place, so that could be something else entirely. But at the very least, we know this much. So shout out to Arihiko, best bro, coming through with that information, who's apparently also been having occult experiences. Poor guy. Hopefully he doesn't get involved anymore. Talked to Ark too. Ark had like a weird dream, saw like the past, but also like a grim future. So maybe even seeing the end of the world. Like Shiki. Also ran into like a student, which I guess was Arihiko. I'm being all like conspiracy over here and be like, what if that was them as well? And yeah, you know, Shiki just had another, you know, we did some different choices last time, of course, in the loop. And, you know, Shiki once again having more solemn moments, kind of a bit hopeless. Of course, like poking at the meta of what's going on within the loop, but very, very sad tone, but maybe a little bit of hope. I don't know. Mostly hopeless though, it sounded like. But yeah, that's where we're at, and I'm ready to see more. But also, when I check this, look, 10 Nights of Dream unlocked. So I don't know if I have to move on to this now and see what this is. Look, a story for the evening. But this section is unlocked. I don't know if I have to go and do all the things here now, or if I just go to here. Someone can let me know if I should go back to Twilight Grass Moon. But probably for this part, I'm going to be checking out 10 Nights of Dream just because it's here. And I assume because it's unlocked that I should probably go to it. But, yeah, thank you guys for the tips. I turned on skip previously read, so I'm hoping, and I think that's how it worked in Tsukihime. Even if a scene was like a little bit different, it would still play it out, like not give you the option to skip if you previously read. So even if it's like a little bit different and mostly the same, I want to see like those little differences because I'm psycho. But, you know, I think that's how it works. So if that's the case, that's perfect. And if nothing is truly the same in a scene, we can just skip it, move on to the next part. And, yeah, that's it. Also, the mysteries, Cyclo, you pointed out, is like more like in Akia. The way she explained it was more like a cultural thing in Japanese schools, like of like a haunted staircase or something, just more of like a rumor type thing. But also in the Nasu vs. Mysteries is a whole other thing, so Nasu is just continuing to troll me, I guess. But regardless, 10 Nights of Dream, story for the evening. Let's check it out. Oh, excuse me. Because I didn't see it here, there's a help thing where you get like special Ciel Sensei lessons. Teach me Ciel Sensei, so let's do this first. Because you love more Ciel. Oh goodness, why does her voice throw me off every time? I can never jump into her voice. It's been a long time, everyone. Have you been well? Although the main story is over with, the Rescue Corner Teach Me Ciel Sensei has begun. Oh god, how could I forget? It's understandable, nya. This time around, the game is balanced very precariously. You probably won't be able to get through it without a hint or two, nyo? Disgusting. I don't want to agree with you, but yes, this game is precariously balanced. So I prepared lessons to aid those who can't tell left from right. That's me. Yeah, amazing. You are all confident because you are more popular here than in the main story, nya. I disagree. In some ways, you are a pitiful person. Thank God someone else did it. Then first, the basics. This time, there are no individual endings for the heroines. Right, alright. So please don't think something like, I've decided to go after Ciel Senpai, so I'll choose only the choices with Ciel Senpai. She's already calling me out for the first thing I did in this game. Rather, please enjoy just as you like. Any one of them is fine. Please be the Tono-kun you wish to be. Yeah, this is like... I forget who exactly left this comment, but This VN does feel like open world combined with a visual novel. Because, yeah, at this point, it doesn't feel like a rowdy, right? It feels like Hollow Ataraxia, so it's, that makes sense. And when the day ends, everything is automatically saved at that point, so in the next playthrough, don't choose to restore a save game, but instead click a day and play from the start. It's another tip I got from y'all. Thank you. From Cyclo, I believe. And from Ciel herself. Got it. Story will not progress if you just restore a save game, so be careful. Alright. Well, it's good I didn't do that. For some reason, it seems like the likes of the vampire heroine and Ciel appear less often this time around. What's with that? Yeah. No, that's not the case. Everyone should have an equal share of appearances. That's what it seemed like so far, like you just choose. And those two are exactly the ones I've chosen so far. Well, then let's stop talking about something that can't come true and begin our lesson. Wait, before that, let's decide on the agenda. Those who want a small guideline, please choose expert. Those who want to know what to choose, please choose beginner. Oh, I gotta go expert. Come on now. And I believe that beginner choice is the one you also mentioned, Cyclo, I believe, where it's like, you'll get straight up just, and I mean, she kind of implied it, but you'll really get told, like, probably what to do next if you're hard stuck somewhere, so. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but the option's there. The expert course. Let me tell you something. This game utilizes a really annoying system where you have to clear many points as you go through each day, and then enjoy the changes that occur the day after. Listen, I am all for that. There are many crybabies who complain about not knowing what went where, what changed because of something, and things like that. Not I. Yet? That's true, yeah. Is it true that this game is made up of 3 parts, Chieru? Chieru? Yes, that is so. Twilight Grass Moon is largely comprised of 3 stages. One could say it's divided into Introduction, Development, and finally Revelation of Truth. Ooh, okay. Interesting. We're still in the introduction stage. Makes sense. Then what do you need to do to get past the introduction part? That carries a few requirements. The foremost points are to 1. Meet the Black Cat in various places. Alright, hold on, give me a second. I gotta make some KT notes here in my phone. Oh, and while I'm here in my phone, I took a picture of the boot up message I got, because I forgot the one last time, and I was like, smacking myself, so. The one I got getting in today was the webmaster plays Sakura Wars 3. A few days later, a mysterious letter arrives at the scenario director's house. I'm going to Meter Kokelikat. I have no idea who that is. At first I thought it said Quetzalcoatl, but of course not, so. Yeah, shout out to Sakura Wars 3, I guess. But also, let me make a note here. Boom, boom, boom. Meet Black Cat. Various places. Go on. Experience many different days. Alright, that is sure. 3. Sometimes go out far away. Okay. Sometimes go out far away. These are the expert tips. Sometimes wander the streets alone. So I appreciate the vagueness, as I don't like being outright spoiled on things, as you guys know. These 4 steps are necessary. Got you. I can get 1 and 2, but what are 3? Oh, excuse me. That's not my abomination voice. I can get 1 and 2, but what are 3 and 4? Going far away would probably mean going out somewhere. And as for 4, one would have to stay out in the streets all day. Ooh, okay. Comma, all day for 4. Oh, I didn't scroll up. Alright. Of course, this can't happen if one doesn't look at the end of the world. Ooh, got it. Parentheses. Must trigger end of the world? Sequence? Question mark? I think there are points that cause the change, yeah. Yes, that's true. The key to this game are those points. They develop the story and they unlock many other fun side attractions as well. Cool. For example, when one gets the keyword cultural festival from somewhere. Ooh, okay. New notes. Keyword cultural festival. Uchiaru go boom. How can that be? It'll unlock the school day cultural festival events. Oh. Unlocks festival events once I get that keyword. Okay. Wait, I have more questions, yeah. Of course, but don't ask me to put a spin on the lesson or something like that. Then everyone, using all you've learned now, please enjoy the dreams. My first lesson is over now. Let's meet again after you've seen the scene, A Night Stroll with the Moon and the Cat. Ooh, okay. A night stroll with the moon and the cat. Got these weeb-ass notes in my phone now. Oh, fuck. What the hell was that CG? That terrified me. Felt like I was falling down a chasm. That's sudden music, too. This is even more terrifying. Well, then. The sudden Arc Sensei's... Oh, that was more of a sing-songy, well. Arc Sensei's Advice Corner. Oh, God. The place to look at this time is school, lunchtime, tea room, yeah. Fine, I'll take your stupid advice. You little shit. You'll not be able to take your eyes off my beauty when you diligently attend school and go to the tea room, yeah. I already did that, you fucking... I'm so meaner. Alright, 10 Nights of Dream. A story for the evening. Alright. Excuse my harshness. My hair clings to my back. Perhaps I have just grown used to this waiting, but lately I often find myself feeling down. Because my mind is filled with dark anxiety, I cannot even manage any wishful thinking. Something whispers to me that I long ago lost the person I wait for, and that this warmth that lingers in my breast is just an illusion. And I'll say one last thing. Given that that help section was under the original section I was playing through, not this one, I assume that all the tips they give are relevant to that section, meaning maybe I shouldn't be doing this one now. And hopefully this doesn't like lock me out of that, but I'll just roll with this for now. And if that's the case, next time I'll just jump back into the first one. I'm down to clear these sequentially if I need to. Like if I have to finish all that there, then I'll do that. But yeah, if anyone knows, let me know. But I might just do that anyway. Well, in that case, I might as well take this burdensome hair and cut it all off, I think. Wait, who is this? The way things are now, I think that might not be a bad idea after all. Story for the evening. Is this Akiya? Who is this? 1 out of 7 in the beginning. And so, I returned to the school dormitory. Oh, this must be Akiya. January 8th. The first 3 days of the new year passed in a dull haze, and then 5 more days until this day, the day of the dormitory opening, finally arrived. I'm not fond of these first and last days of the changing calendar. It seems like not just the temperature, but the calendar too has frozen solid, as if the march of time has slowed to a snail's pace. To my impatient self, this dullness affects my temper. One gloomy sigh. The winter break that felt longer than the entire summer vacation still has 2 days remaining. Ignoring Kohaku's vocal and Hisui's wordless suggestions to remain on the estate until the opening ceremonies, I returned here to the dormitory as soon as I could. One reason was truly unlike me. The person who should have returned did not come back. It wasn't that idle time was painful, but rather that I grew to hate myself for becoming used to that idleness, and thus ran away to this place where the person I wait for cannot be expected to appear. How truly unlike myself. Yeah, we are super Akiya. Walking down the moderately new but still old-fashioned hallway, Asagami Private Girls Academy has counted 50 years since its founding, and its dormitory has counted about as many. I haven't been here since Kara no Kyokai. The school buildings were renovated years ago to give the appropriate outward appearance for a noted boarding school, but this dormitory as yet maintains the same wooden construction that it had 50 years before. Are we going to run into Seo? Perhaps Azaka? Although that too was true only until last year, and now the reconstruction of this dormitory proceeds bit by bit. During this winter break, the dormitory started being rebuilt from the first floor up. Architecture. By summer, reconstruction will be complete, and I suppose that will be farewell to the old building. Asagami Girls Academy generally requires its students to live in the dormitories, so most of the student body has lived here, most. Surrounding the dormitory is a grove of trees. Because that grove is basically a high encircling wall, there are only 2 gates of any size to allow passage from the grounds to the outside. Interesting. That sounds kinda cool. Engraved on the main gate is the phrase, "Abandon all youth, ye who enter here." Jeez, a phrase which I think I have heard something similar to before, The truth of that phrase is made obvious by the end of the second day in the dormitory. The staff, which are never seen to crack a single joke, may seem quite capricious at times, but of course that graffiti was carved by some graduate. After exchanging greetings with a number of other students in the halls, I arrived at my room. Student council and student government members with tasks start working today, so there are students scattered throughout the building. So this is pretty cool. I never thought I'd be able to see from Akiya's perspective, and I wonder who else's perspective we'll see in this game. Additionally, there are no small number of students for whom being at home is unpleasant and who have fled to school. Because of that, I thought my roommates would have returned already, but Soka and Hanapin's bags are missing. So the two of them haven't come back yet. Hanapin hates going home, and was boasting that she would spend the entire break hiding out in the dormitory, but since I don't see her, I guess that means she was found and forcibly sent back. I pulled myself together because I'm skilled at getting along by myself. Makes sense. The sunlight streaming from the window dimmed, as if the room was within a deep gray cloud. Even so, it wasn't dark enough to need the lights on, and to my present self, this faint light was quite comfortable. I like faint light too. I like soft light. Walking to the window, I reached out and placed my bag on my desk. There was nothing else on my desk. Pretty obvious since I cleaned everything before the break. My desktop was as flat and smooth as a freshly made pudding. What a comparison. An envelope. Or so it should have been, but there was an obstacle sitting there. An envelope, purple in color, with no address or anything else written on it. Mysterious. With no address, it should not have been delivered. With no return address, it should have been non-returnable as well. But that letter was sitting there on my desk. Gray twilight. A purple envelope placed in an unoccupied room. Sorry, I started thinking of how, why did I say envelope then envelope? Anyway, this is a mystery, is it not? Aha. I took that purple envelope in my hand. Inside was one sheet of white paper. What was written there, I already knew. My only wish. I would have put it into words, but instead it has not even a single letter written on it, just a cowardly blank sheet of white paper. Oh. In other words, this is the outcome of a little ritual undertaken on a whim right before winter break. Of course, the person who performed this ritual was me. Thus, this envelope was one that I myself, Tono Akiya, had sent without addressee, or address. Originally, this should have definitely never been returned, an utterly meaningless letter. That's sad. 2 out of 7, January 9th. Cool, this is like a little sub-story sequence of like a week Akiya experienced here. The 9th of January dawned. His classes resume tomorrow. The dormitory has begun to bustle with the figures of returning students. And particularly hurried amongst those students is... Who is this? Huh? Akiya-chan, have you seen my tools? I dropped them over by your stuff right before the break. This person, Misawa Hanae, nicknamed Hanapin, just now returned to our room. Okay, this is her. Hanae, when you say your tools, are you perhaps referring to that person which you store scissors and solder? Yeah, that's it. They're my precious tools, so I thought I had left them with you, but I guess I took them with me after all. I should clarify here. Hopefully I'm not forgetting this girl. If she's not one of the students I saw from Kara no Kyokai or something. I really need to rewatch those movies. I should clarify here. Hanapin is not currently suffering from lack of sleep, nor does she possess any particular wakefulness. This girl is from first to last like this. It is as if her brain produces nothing but alpha waves, giving her an ability to enjoy life that is enviable. Damn. It's kind of a real thought. It's like, well, it could be that, a lot of people, and this is true, a lot of people are good at hiding, like, the way they really feel. But even like when they seem joyful or can, even if they're like faking it, sometimes you can look at that and be like, man, I wish I could be like that. I see. If you hurry, you may be in time. All the garbage from the break is going to be incinerated, so with luck, you may find it before then. Eh? I don't understand, but Akiya-chan, I think you just said something scary. Not really. It is simply that if I saw some unfamiliar bag atop what should have been my neat and tidy desk, I would have thrown it in the trash. Jesus. Because at first I thought she was implying, oh, you know, maybe someone came and cleaned it out. No, she's like, I would have thrown it in the fucking trash. Damn. Oh, that really is scary. Seemingly unhurried at all, Hanapin tilted her head. Then right now my bag should be in the incinerator? If your luck is good, should it be poor, would it not already be rising to the heavens? Dude, Azakiya so mean. I should be used to it by now. Ooh, Akiya-chan, you've gotten even meaner since you got back. I know, you got dumped when you went home, didn't you? Damn. Get fucked. Yes, that's exactly right. However, Hanai, is this alright? If you leave now, you still may be able to make it in time. Oh, she just says, yep, that's true. Is that the way she sees it with Shiki? It's a waste, but that's alright. During the break, I bought myself some new tools so that 4th generation can rest in peace. 4th generation. My god. Relatively quickly surrendering, Hanapin returned to sorting out her baggage. I almost thought that said garbage. Hanai, I think you already know this, but do not place your belongings in my space or Soka's. Yeah, I know. Hanapin responded, even as she started to lay out her clothing on Soka's bed. Jesus. So why had she put her bag on my desk anyway? It's because her desk always looks like this. That is such an old looking, like with the creepy, like what is that? Look at that shit. Look at that thing. That thing barely has a face. It's like just a clown. Is that a belly shirt? What is this thing? Oh god. This is like the creepiest, like, lion from the Wizard of Oz looking doll here. For some reason wearing a nun's cloak. Like, what is this? Disgusting. This is legit something you'd see in your, like, great-grandmother's house. It's because her desk always looks like this. Doing her homework on it at night is one thing, as is sitting before my desk and sighing, Akiya-chan's desk is so nice and clean, but sometimes she simply uses it as a place to drop her stuff. Okay, yeah, I'd be irritated with that too. If some strange bag is dropped on my desk, then obviously it would be thrown in the garbage. I wouldn't do that. I'd probably like, put it on the floor or something, or if I knew it was theirs, I'd toss it on their bed or something, but yeah, that's... to be a roommate. Asagami Girls Academy is a famous school with a long and proper history. School regulations are very strict, and that strictness is unchanged here in the dormitory. First off, curfew is very strictly enforced. Those with club activities must return before 6 p.m. Those without must return by 5 p.m. At 6:30 p.m., all residents line up in the hallway and proceed in order to the dining room, where private conversation is prohibited during the meal. Jesus. When the meal is over, each grade is allowed a period to use the baths, and the friends' room opens. The friends' room is a large public room that the students may use freely, and they frequently go here for after-dinner tea and conversation. Okay, they have a room specifically to talk to your friends. Okay, since this dormitory is one in which private luxuries are forbidden, the only place that one may enjoy tea is the friends' room. The friends' room is managed by a member of the school staff, and upon request, she will provide tea or desserts. Now, the school is so strict and fancy. There are no restrictions on the number one may request, nor is there any charge, but with all the surrounding eyes, it is not a place one can feel at home. Yeah. Those who use the friends room are mostly the middle schoolers, and those first years who have only recently risen from middle school. Second and third years who are used to the dormitory lifestyle have usually figured out a number of ways to sneak tea and snacks into individual rooms for private tea parties. There you go. That makes more sense. In the dormitory, naturally various groups tend to form, and once a week the head of each group gathers for a special tea. Of course, these groups do not get along, so the school culture changes depending on how much influence is wielded in those meetings. I'm so used to seeing cultural festival that I almost said it there. And thus, because I am a member of the student council, I have little influence in the dormitory. That the school belongs to the student council and the dormitory to the student government has long been the tradition of the Asagami Academy. Oh, this is the most I've learned about this school ever. In these ways, everyone passes 3 hours of free time before retiring for the evening. If studying, then room lights may remain lit until 11 p.m., but there are few students who take this rule at face value. Dormitory rooms are assigned at 3 people to 1 room. There are special exceptions to these assignments, and the highest ranking students, the group leaders, have single rooms. Nice. Those so chosen are thought to have special privileges, and this is one way to show them in this small world of the school. Last year, for only a few weeks, I transferred to another school. Unlike the Asagami Girls Academy, that school was not another academy sealed away from the outside world, but indeed a typical public school, yep. That unled, unordered, and muddled atmosphere was not something I liked, but neither did I dislike it. Compared to that school, Asagami's unusual, no anachronistic status was made plain to me, and because of that I had largely lost interest in the influence battles within the dormitory. Oh, yes. This may be a digression, but a cafeteria where students may decide what to consume or vending machine where one may acquire a drink at any time are absent from Asagami. Those things may be convenient, but their lack is no particular inconvenience. Perhaps I too am an anachronism. After all, I'm fond of this environment. Huh. So I'm having trouble remembering. I think by this point it's like clear, quote unquote clear. This is near side shit, right? But I don't remember if Akiya transferred in near side or in her route. I'm having trouble remembering that. Because if it's in her route, then that adds a new wrench of like intersecting routes. Like, and this could imply that this is even more outside of a canonical like timeline of events. But I'm having trouble remembering that. Having finished my work for the student council, I returned to my room to see that my roommates had finished unloading their baggage. I'm back. I see you have returned as well, Soka. Oh wow. Yeah, I got back about an hour ago. The moment I returned and saw what a mess Hanae had made out of the room, I grew depressed. This cool-looking person, Soka said in a deep, uninflected voice. Ah, got it. Tsukihime Soka. Tsukihime? Her name is Tsukihime? Just as she seems, she is a girl who competes for first or second most unique among the students and also my roommate. Born and raised in a household even stricter than my own, her reaction to that environment has led her taste into a number of unique categories. Nasu did not name this girl Tsukihime. Her fucking name is Moon Princess. That is... oh my goodness. The daughter of the effective lord of her prefecture, a daughter of a house of samurai, a daughter raised from that bloodline should wear such clothing makes the severity of her rebellious spirit easy to imagine. By those clothes you've returned from a concert. You were getting rid of the stress you accumulated at home? That's right, but that place I wandered into was terrible. Now I'm even more stressed. It's not as if Western style is the true way or anything, but they should at least be able to tell the difference between rock and other categories of music. Oh damn. Ah, Soka gave another gloomy sigh. Oh, ha. At this point, I do not think I should have to explain, but this girl is just as much a rocker as she looks. Looking cool as hell. There seem to be these punk and heavy metal categories, but I do not know those sorts of details. In the first place, back from a concert? I may have asked, but in reality, I have never seen such a concert myself. Yeah, what you know about that, Akiya? For me to speak about music at all is rather presumptuous. So it seems like both of us are depressed then? Yeah, but the causes of mine are not as deep as yours. I can lick my wounds and be healed, but Tono, your wounds won't heal no matter how long you lick them. Wow. Casually, Soka commented about a rather sore spot. That is very intuitive. I guess so. I answered in a similar light tone and crossed the room. Sitting in my own seat, I pulled out a roll of surgical tape. Then I began to cover the cuts in my fingers one by one. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4. At this rate, tomorrow I'll need to get a new roll from the clinic. What? Is that what they're implying there? Jesus. Then, are the two of you finished unpacking? Soka, you never have much baggage, but Hane, you usually have a mountain to unpack? Fufufu, that's right, but everyone's done. Instead of the heartless Akiya-chan, So-chan helped me, and in the short time, it's all tidy. Heh, triumphantly posed Hanapin. Soka, you're so nice. Even though you had only just returned, you were already looking out for Hane. Oh, I couldn't do that. Yeah, that's true. No matter how she tries to cry to get her way, I don't give in. It's probably the reason I'm said to have the second coldest heart in the dorm. Second. Is that so? But if So-chan is the second coldest, that means Akiya-chan has the hardest heart? Hold it, Hane. Don't be so rude. Among the underclassmen, I'm known as a helpful senpai. The ones I have no sympathy for are those like you and Soka. See? Right there. Right there meaning what, Soka? I'm just trying to keep up with who's talking. That's why you're the only one in this entire dorm who can ignore Hane. Tono, if someone has any faults, then even to a child you show no mercy. Wow, Soka made a shocked face as she declared that no mercy line. She may have been rude to say it, but it is the absolute truth, so there is really nothing I can say in return. The middle schoolers like to say that the ghost of the Seven Mysteries isn't as scary as Tono-senpai. At this rate, by the time you're a senior, they'll be using your name as a charm against demons. Damn, it's like that, huh? Kukuku, went Soka, a very masculine chuckle. Is that so? Using me as a charm would probably backfire, however. Damn. God, she's... So yeah, Akiya very clearly depressed. They're implying she's like... You know, doing that to herself too. You know, she has a reputation here, obviously. But it's like we know, like, how she really feels and kind of that pain she carries. So it's like, it sucks, man. Because, you know, it makes sense that she wouldn't be able to be, like, really understood or come off in a likable way to, you know, the other students at her school. But it looks like the whole situation with, you know, not being able to see Shiki. And even that letter, like, I guess she was planning to... It was a ritual where she sent a blank one. I guess where she couldn't muster up, like, put her feelings into words. Like, even if she wanted to maybe send it to Shiki or something, or to write, she couldn't even write it. So she just sent it, like, meaninglessly, like, as a representation of that. Really sad, man. Pretty, yeah. Cutting short this conversation, this time I pulled a compress out of my desk. Compress? What is that? Times like this, Soka may be trying to clear up my depression, but just talking with her is a fruitless effort. I like Soka. That reminds me, I had something to tell you when I saw you, Akiya-chan. Went Hanapin as she worried over some thought. However, she's doing it again. Hane's forgetfulness is nothing new, so if you pay any attention to her, you'll be waiting till the sun's risen. Soka said quite truthfully while otherwise ignoring Hane. I was busy with treating my cuts, so when she's calmed down a bit, I might listen to Hane. By the way, Tono, what have you been doing? You can't tell from looking, I've been treating my wounds. I can see that. What I'm asking is where you got those cuts. Oh, goodness. Does this mean another battle in the dorm's pecking order is coming to a head? Soka looked relatively serious. I guess to her, the Tono Akiya that quarrels with the upperclassmen is less when involved in deeds of daring and cruelty. Of course not. You are utterly wrong, Soka. If they had that sort of courage to begin with, then during the elections I would have seized control of the student council. That's the truth. With a chuckle, Soka withdrew her guess. Don't like it. Eh? Why would the upperclassmen acting like bitches help Akiya-chan? Oh, that's the best line so far. with her fucking face like that too. That's the best. Normally, wouldn't it hurt to get into a fight? Yeah, normally. But Hane, is Tono normal? She's not very open, but she's a good girl, you know? For a moment, both Soka and I stopped breathing. When people in this dorm say Hannibin has no equals, this is exactly what they mean. In the dorm's power struggles, Soka and I are amongst the strongest. However, when faced with Hannibin, even the strong lose all malice. Yeah, I'm starting to like her as well. This is a cool little trio here. Pretty balanced. Well, yeah, maybe. But you know, Tono is more hot-tempered than most people, right? That's why if someone else picks a fight with her, she'll beat them to a pulp. Understand? Oh, I get it. Akiya-chan won't stop until she's satisfied, even if her victim is begging. See? But Tono isn't foolish enough to start fights herself. She isn't afraid of rough politics, but should it come to that, she's got to keep the conflict underground. This gives a semblance of peace, but the facts are so muddled that figuring out the real situation is a pain. It'd take too much time, and until some sort of peace treaty could be reached, there's neither a victor nor a loser, which makes the hierarchy too difficult to understand. That's the reason that although Tono would have won, she's not the student council president. Akiya-chan is the vice president, right? Aha. Right. Tono's been opposing the high schoolers ever since middle school. That was all just to tempt them into coming after her after she entered high school. She expected the upperclassmen to try to use force to pin her down as soon as she entered, but they turned out to be nothing but cowards and all talk. In the end, though, all they did was complain about her, so she could only run for vice president rather than president. Why is that? If the upperclassmen were going to stop her, why didn't she run for president? That's because until they did something, she couldn't force that much of a transition of power. A power struggle is a savage but easy to understand relationship. Using straight conflict rather than propaganda and innuendo, snatch control would result in fewer future problems. That's what Tono was trying for, but the upperclassmen just kept dancing around to fight, and even now keep up the backbiting. God, that was a mouthful. Right? Asked Soka's eyes as she glanced at me. School politics. Annoying. When she says it that way, it makes me sound like the most malicious one of all. Well, she said it was true though, so I can't object. So I gave all my attention to treating my wounds. And yeah, we're basically just getting more of a sense of the dynamic of Akiya and those in the student council and I guess everyone as a whole. Really seeing her perception here. Because Akiya obviously hates that. She doesn't want to be like seen that way or misunderstood. I pulled up my uniform and began to deal with my throbbing hip. Oh goodness. I could feel Soka's shocked stare. Man, that part's really fucking me up that she like, that they're implying what she did to herself there. I don't know if like, they also implied that in Tsukihime, but I could feel Soka's shocked stare. So even hell freezes over, huh? Well, it doesn't bother me, but doesn't go around showing those sort of wounds in front of the upperclassmen. It's like the fact that like she did it to her hip as well. Like that's like real for me because I know someone who did that like specifically. That is, damn. If you destroy their image of the invincible Tono Senpai, then next year you'll have no power in the student council and it'll all be your own fault. Soka shrugged and turned a highly exaggerated shocked look towards me. How heartless, Soka. You can see from this red skin that your roommate is suffering and yet you act like you don't care. Are you not even concerned over how I received such injuries? Crossing my arms, I glared at her. Soka quickly responded. No, this time in her normal tone of voice. If there was someone else, then I might be concerned, but for you and Hane, it'd be pointless. Me, I'm more worried about the person that hurt you. I'm just asking as a friend here, but you didn't kill them, did you? Hold it, Soka. How can you say that with such a serious look on your face? How rude. I would never do something so uncivilized. There wasn't even anyone to retaliate against. I received this bruise when I tripped, that's all. Flashbacks to Akiya and the Far Side routes. Oh goodness. Soka gave an inaudible what? And a truly surprised look as if she'd seen a ghost. Yeah, when she tripped. Jeez. About these middle schoolers who supposedly speak of the invincible Tono-senpai. Perhaps the one that believes that the most is Soka herself? Is that true? Akiya-chan, are you alright? Suddenly, Hanapin hugged me. Nice. Ah, geesh, if I were not alright, then I would be in the school clinic right now, wouldn't I? My hip hurts, so please don't cling to me like that. Tug as I tried to pull her off me. Eh? Whined an unhappy Hanapin. Soka gave a lazy laugh and just watched as I held a hand to my hip and tried to ignore the pain. Well, I do feel somewhat better. Surrounded by roommates like these, even if only for a moment, I can forget about that darkness in my heart. Damn, dude. Fuck, this whole like sequence is just pure depression, man. But this right here, like this little bit of light that she can savor with her roommates. I kind of been hugging her there. You know, Soka being while reinforcing, you know, what the perception of Akiya, which is she doesn't like, is like telling the truth. So I guess she at least knows she's not bullshitting her, but it's a good balance. Like Hanapin to be like the gentle, like intuitive kind of, like while she doesn't really get it, she can do that. Like, cause you know she still cares for her, and you know she still did the right thing there, and yeah. Shout out to these two roommates. I wonder if that may have been exactly what I was hoping for when I chose to return early. Maybe so. Damn, dude. Getting very real with Akiya. A faint wind drifted in through the open window. The cold outside air of January quickly cooled my flushed skin. That thin film of water then condensed upon my still warm skin felt pleasant, but my roommates did nothing but complain, "It's cold, it's cold." After dinner, after returning to our room from the common bath, I began to towel off my still damp hair. Excuse me, is Tono-san here? Thump thump, someone knocked on the door. Is that Sale? I didn't respond, but rather continued to stare out the window into the cold wind and dark of night. She's here, she's spacing out, but if that's alright, then come in. Soka responded for me. The sound of the door opening. Excuse me, Tamaki's familiar voice. Ah, it's Tamaki-chan. What, did you bring me some candy? Yay, Hanapin's excited voice. Sorry, dorm manager, please just ignore that little joke. Anyway, since your target is like that, I don't suppose she'll be helpful. Soka's disinterested voice. Unconsciously excluding the speaker from my sight, I played with my hair and stared at the night. Is Tono-san always like this? Recently, yeah. It gets worse day by day, but tonight seems especially bad. Almost as if she were a girl in love, right? That's true. Tono-san didn't seem to be the type to stare out the window in Ennui? Don't know what that means. Rather, doing that sort of thing seems like an ill omen. Tamaki, I can hear you, you know. Without moving my gaze, I spoke. Ah, she is conscious. In that case, let me get to what brought me here. Tono-san, there's the Shijo-san in your class, right? That girl's been emotionally unstable ever since she came back. Her roommate has been complaining that ever since yesterday she's been acting strange. Wait a second. Shijo. Dorms are under my jurisdiction, but the school site is yours, right? I know it'll be inconvenient, but would you please keep an eye on her there? That sort of business, huh? I sighed in my heart. Right now I have my hands full taking care of myself, but I cannot keep ignoring things now that I've returned to school. Although in the first place, the dormitory was left to Tamaki so that I could concentrate on the student council business. She and I were friends back in middle school, and we're in fact on the student council together there. When we entered high school, she chose the student government. Give me 1 second. Bada boop bop bam. checking a thing. In other words, to enter the dormitory hierarchy and together, hand in hand, we would change the foolish customs of this school. Student council and the student government still don't get along, but Tamaki and I, at the top of each organization, cooperate in secret, so giving or receiving requests or advice like this is quite normal. I understand. I'll do it. Seat number 8, Shijo Tsukasa-san, right? I will keep an eye on her starting tomorrow. Akiya-chan, Tsukasa-chan is number 9, isn't she? I'm number 10 and she sits right in front of me, so she'd be number 9, right? For some reason, dropping her work to the desk, mine of course, Hannah-bin corrected me. Oh, that's right. I really don't care about Shijo-san, so I had forgotten. Simply accepting my mistake, I responded to the air. Hey, what's wrong? It looks like my partner princess has lost her spirit? Seemingly concerned over my absent-mindedness, Tamaki nudged Soka's arm. I once again forgot to take my allergy medicine, so my reading is a little scuffed. But no, ever since she came back from home, just taking a bath has been enough to make her go flat like this. She'll be back to normal by tomorrow though, so don't worry about it. Don't know about that. Unconvinced, Tamaki withdrew. Okay, so she asked her to keep an eye on this girl who's been, I guess, going through it too. I don't know, maybe this will help Akiya, because, you know, often in situations like this, if you can, like, focus on helping someone else, it kind of takes you out of your own suffering. So, I don't know, maybe that'll help. Lying in bed, I slowly opened my eyes. The air was cold. The dormitory rooms have no heating, so the winter air by itself is enough to dry the skin. My depressed sigh puffed faintly white. Having passed the autumn in waiting and having even grown used to it, now it is the middle of winter. With the snow not falling, the season has entered its coldest phase. Cold inside my heart, cold enough to freeze that only definite warmth. Still in bed, I looked out of the window. No moon floated in the dark heavens, leaving me to think tomorrow would be another dark and gloomy day. Well, if it continues to be this cloudy, then maybe there might be a snow flurry or two. Yeah, that would be just great. If it were bright and sunny, then maybe my mood would change a bit. My hair has grown out so much. I scooped up my proud black hair. Just 2 months spent waiting for he who will never return. In just that short time, I became so uneasy I could not stand it, and left the estate to return to this dormitory. In November, from school transfer to transfer, not even a full week had passed when I fled to the dormitory. Even so, every weekend I would return to the mansion, and this winter break I went home as well. Of course, this all did nothing but make me more anxious. There were simply too many memories in that mansion. When I heard a sound in the lobby, I would come running, and when at night I felt someone's presence in the corridor, I would fly out of my room. It was always Hisui and Kohaku, of course. The person I wished to see never appeared. Nothing but my imagination. At those times, my thoughts always turned utterly cynical. I remembered it all. I couldn't stand it, so I thought, just once, I would do something utterly unlike my usual self. And I'm glad we're getting this, because this really answers like my question I've been asking the last couple parts as well, is like, how are we going to deal with the problems that we know these characters already have, like in Tsukihime. Of course, this is before, this is in January, so this is before like where we are in the first part of the story. Rather in the first section, right? Because, you know, Shiki's back, Akiya's there, and then the loop is there. But it's cool we're still getting into this, even like post Tsukihime, right? And how like she was dealing with all this, or, you know, not dealing with it. I turned my gaze to my perfectly clean desk. Yesterday there had been a purple envelope there, and I don't want that to sound like I'm like blaming her. I mean like she's obviously depressed and struggling. That's what I mean. That was the sign of my weakness, or if Soka said it, my girlishness. Recently I seem to spend every night sighing. as if I wished to expel even a little of the anxiety in my heart. That fear was not that he would never return. The true cause of my anxiety, that someday this impatient waiting would come to be a normal part of me. That self is what I fear. That's real. Doesn't want that to become the norm for herself. Because at that point, then that would truly be like, yeah. I suppose I should enter into the main story. Oh? Troubles are troublesome because they give no warning, and in the end you can prepare no opposition. There are many problems that, should they be left alone, will solve themselves, and many people think it better to solve them quickly. If they will end anyway, then why not finish them sooner? That is an opinion I share, and thus I act. However, before that, one more thing. I would like you to keep in mind that to finish off these problems does not mean solving the problem, but simply bringing them to an end. Okay? Not solving the problem, ending it. Oh, look at her hair. I guess that's how she has to have it for school. Tono, you've got a guest outside. Class is over and just returned to my room. Soka, similarly arrived, told me. A guest? For me? More from yesterday, I think. Can I let her into the room? Soka opened the door, said okay into the corridor. Oh, is this the girl that we have to look after? Urged on by Soka, a student who just recently had been in the same classroom as me timidly entered. Her name is Shijo Tsukasa. There you go. Again, sorry if any of these characters were in Kara no Kyokai. I just cannot remember. That was movie 6, I believe. I cannot remember. Besides, Isao Shizune was a student there as well, right? Yeah, I can't remember any of the other ones. I know that, Asaka had another roommate with a dog named, was the dog's name Akira? I don't remember, but anyway. Seat number 9, no club activities. Instead, she is one of the class staff members and an honor student. Please have a seat. If you've come to me here, then this must be something you couldn't talk about in the classroom, correct? If this should be a long discussion, then shall I pour you some tea? No, I'm fine, thank you. This is a trifling matter, so please do not concern yourself. Yeah, hopefully in helping her this also helps Akiya, but given the preliminary, like, message here of, like, her speaking to us, like, she's telling this story, right? She just gave, like, that narrator sense of, like, her opinion of solving a problem quickly, because if it's gonna end anyway, like, you might as well do that, but also drawing a distinction between solving a problem and simply ending it. I guess that's what she's going to do here. Has me worried. I don't know what this is going to be, but we'll see. Is that so? I thought it might be. It was polite to ask once, however, so let us finish this before it becomes such that I am forced to leave my long-awaited tea unenjoyed. Damn. Hanging her head, Shijo Tsukasa seated herself atop a cushion. Soka sent me a glance like she had something to say, then pulled shut the partitioning curtains and began to change her clothes. Well then, what brings you here, Shijo-san? I bluntly asked. Shijo Tsukasa kept her head down, not raising it a bit. Perhaps she's taking a liking to the carpet design. Geez, Akiya. Well, I too shall say nothing and wait a little while on her poor taste. God damn, Akiya. I know this is all like a result of her own mood and depression, but damn. Thus, wordlessly, we passed exactly 5 minutes and 20 seconds. That is a long time. That's almost hard to believe Akiya waited that long. At the same time, like, that is so long. Like, even like 10 seconds of silence can feel like a long time. 5 minutes and 20 seconds? I guess that also speaks more to Akia's what she's going through as well, but that is so long. Tono-san, do you know about the 7 mysteries of this school? Shijo Tsukasa said as if to pique my interest. Man, this has been coming up a lot. I've heard rumors. The broken phone in an empty room of the dormitory or the balcony of the school building. Those sorts of things. Oh yes, and the postal box in rear courtyard. Yes, that one. Tono-san, do you know about the story of the mailbox? This girl's voice was rough, almost possessed. Did she experience something paranormal? Though I knew, I shook my head. I see. No, you wouldn't have any interest in those. Oh. No, you wouldn't have any interest in those things, would you, Tono-san? Yes, sorry. However, it seems as if they have some sort of meaning to you. So your business has to do with the story of this postal box? Shijo Tsukasa again lowered her head. This time she did not remain silent, but head down, began bit by bit to tell her story. Okay, here we go. What's going on? It was, in all points, a story of mysteries. Anecdotes that spring from some unknown events in this old school's history, such as an embryo floating in formaldehyde in the specimen room. Jesus, such as the voices of the dead heard from broken red telephone, such as an unaddressed letter being delivered and granting a wish. Oh, wait, is that why Akiya tried that ritual? She wanted a wish granted. Interesting. Shijo Tsukasa's story was, among those, one of the relatively quieter ones, and one of those 7 mysteries that even now certain students use as a fun diversion. A rather embarrassing story, but this will do as a summary. There are places in the dormitory where the mail is delivered. Remnants from the school's founding, there are mailboxes at either end of each floor, adjacent to the reception desk, in the courtyards. Pretty much walk for a little while, and you will run into one. Among those, the mailbox that is said to be the oldest is the one in the rear courtyard. Why the story ever began, I do not know, but supposedly, using a purple envelope without the sender's name or an addressee on it, put nothing inside but a paper with a single wish written on it, and dropped the letter into that mailbox. There you go. Then should that letter be returned to you 7 days later in exchange for something important to you, your wish will be granted. In exchange for something important to you. A ghost story fairly typical of this sort of girls' school. I believe I've already mentioned it, but even before Shijo Tsukasa began her explanation, this was a story I knew well. Makes sense? So why is she asking about that? After finishing her explanation of the 7 mysteries and purple mailboxes and such, Shijo Tsukasa once again fell silent. So in summary, Shijo-san, your letter was returned. Ooh. As was Akiya's. Her body jerked. Ha, if it were only my problem, it would be complicated enough, but why do I have to deal with this sort of thing again? Tono-san, how did you... Following your story, that could be the only place you were going. Leaving aside the truth or fiction of these 7 mysteries, you cannot say it is not true that your letter was returned. You, Shijo-san, sent such a letter and had it returned. Is this not correct? Whether or not you should believe in these 7 mysteries or not is a different issue, however. So yeah, the real reason is why these were returned, right? To both of them. Like, it's weird enough, like with Akiya, and as she said, it's complicated enough if it was just her. But yeah, weird. I'm very curious where this story is going. The girl cowered and lowered her gaze. It seems as if she truly believes in the story of the purple envelopes. I see. And is this why your behavior has been strange lately? Shijo-san, in the classroom you were a much stronger person, so it may not match your image, but I believe I understand. You should. If you have become this timid, then a number of days must have passed since your letter was returned. Yes, my letter came back 2 days ago. I came back to the dorms on opening day, and when I arrived, there was the purple envelope sitting on top of my desk. That checks out. I see. Somehow this seems familiar. I muttered and sighed. Maybe she thought I was just speaking to myself or whatever, but she tilted her head and stared questioningly at me. And then, I don't have the ear of God, so did you just wish someone to listen to your story? For what reason did you come to speak to me, Shijo-san? I'm hoping, like, I get why Akiya's like this. Like, one, she's Akiya, and two, like, we know where that comes from. But I hope, like, she opens up a little bit more as, like, it seems these two may have more in common than she thinks, so we'll see. She just hung her head and seemed unable to speak. Hopefully by the end it ends up being, like, cathartic, and, you know, she can come out of it a little bit stronger. That'd be nice, but clearly there's some weird shit going on here besides that. She just hung her head and seemed unable to speak. I'm not that patient a person. Normally, dealing with someone like this would have me yelling already, but this time things are slightly different. Well, I mean, it is not unrelated to me after all, and I have some interest, just for reference, in what my colleague has to say. Yeah, I'd imagine so. I'm troubled, is what she finally managed to squeeze from her throat. I never believed in those silly 7 mysteries. That was just a little fun. It was nothing more than a whim that I sent that letter. But then it came back, and I'm scared. What if... And there, she again dropped her head, and looked tearfully up through her lashes at me. If that wish were granted, then I... Oh no, what did this girl wish for? It would be inexcusable to you, Tono-san. What a bare outline of nothing she has to say. My goodness, Akiya. Chijo-san, perhaps you could order your thoughts a little more. At this rate, it will be supper time before you finish. I thought that it would be wonderful if only she disappeared. Just that stupid, meaningless thing is all that I wrote, and yet that it might come true, I didn't know. Wait. Because yeah, as she just said, if that wish were granted, then it would be inexcusable to you. So it's like, okay, this has to do with her. Did she wish for her to disappear? Yeesh, this girl, she finally starts talking but doesn't listen at all to what I ask. Akiya sounds like Eris, if you guys know that streamer. Beat it, kid. In other words, it's like this. Chijo-san, you returned on opening day and found a purple envelope sitting atop your desk. Previously, before the vacation, you had placed a letter in the mailbox in the rear courtyard. And this letter with neither address nor sender was returned to you. And the inconvenient thing is that this letter's contents were that you wished for a certain someone to disappear. It was to be just a little fun, and then has turned into this problem. Therefore what? I'd summarize this far, but could think of no words to continue. Yes, that's right. That's why I thought you might be able to understand. Ah, that sort of thing then. You feel bad leaving things as they are, and you would like to solve the mystery of the letter before the destined 7th day? Ah, if that's all it was, then she should have just straight out said so. That way this topic could have been finished in just a few words, leaving behind this utter waste of... But wait a minute, why should I need to plunge headlong into solving your confusion? But Tono-san, ever since middle school, people have said you're not scared of these things. And I only have 4 days left, so I thought that maybe it would be alright if I came to talk to you. Yeah, so I just realized that. So yeah, makes sense. That's why this sequence of the game is 7 days long, because 7 days after getting the letter back is when it comes true. Got it. I didn't understand that before. So you gotta solve that by then. But that's so weird. Like, is this actually like a real mystery, like occult thing in this school? Like, like fuck the Holy Grail War. Send a purple envelope, dude. Shit. That's all we had to do? God damn. Alright, we read that part. Again, looking up at me with scared eyes. Is it just my imagination, or is this girl more afraid of me than whatever might happen about this letter? In many ways, this is a truly unflattering conversation. I mean, at this point, I'm getting the impression that this has less to do with the actual letter thing, but like in the grand scheme, but I don't know, we'll see. Myself silent and arms crossed, her cringing and staring up at me. Cringe. Another sigh. Doing this will never bring the matter to an end. More than anything, I am not completely uninvolved, true? Just 4 days left, she said. On the 7th day after the letter returns, your wish will be granted. That is the common version of the story. Fuck 7 servants, 7 days? Shit, alright, I'm done. Following that version, then she, and I as well, will have our wishes granted in 4 more days, in exchange lose something valuable. So that's the thing. That's some genie monkey's paw shit. Like, what does that even mean? Lose something valuable. Of course, that's only if these 7 mysteries truly are magical charms of some sort. Alright, then I shall investigate. I believe that this is merely a prank by someone, and if the culprit is found, then you should be able to relax. Please. Shijo Tsukasa rose ghost-like before more, then turned and sluggishly left the room. This was also like a mystery in the 6th movie of Kara no Kyokai, right? Of like who is behind all this shit going on? God, that movie was a mess. She had been depressed when she had entered, but upon exiting, she seemed twice as grim. I still like the movie, but compared to how people described what the actual story was in like writing in the light novel, I believe. Yeah, that did sound a bit better than that, but shout out to Asuka. I like her glove. She had been depressed when she entered, but upon exiting, she seemed twice as grim. Alright, we got a mystery. What is wrong with her? She came and forced me to listen to her. The least she could do is look a little relieved when she leaves. Well, that was a rather unusual story after all. Pulling the curtain aside, Soka stepped out. With nothing but a single sheet of thin cloth between us, I am sure that my conversation with Shijo Tsukasa passed clearly through. It's a good thing Hanae wasn't here. If she'd been here, there's no telling what strange direction that conversation would have gone. Now that you mention it, that is a godsend. Although, where did that problem child go? There's no way that 5 minutes of silence would have happened if Hanae was here. She has no club activities, so I would have expected her to have returned before me. Who knows? Probably she's been given another job to do by the upperclassmen. Oh no, did something happen to her? God damn it. Ever since she got back to the dorm, she seems to have been buried in work. Didn't she ask you about her tools? She did. Those seniors are truly making good use of Hanae. They know her personality won't let her refuse them, and having them take advantage of her is annoying me. I'm going to go retrieve her. Oh goodness. Because I'm curious how serious this is gonna get. Don't bother. There's only 3 months left, so picking a fight with the upperclassmen at this point would be a waste. Hanae likes what she does, so there's no reason for you to get officious. It's your SAT word of the day. I know that. It's just that I cannot stand the rotten personalities of those seniors, and maybe Hanae is being deceived into volunteering. Why are you looking at me like that? Nothing. Just that Tono, on the inside, you really are overprotective. Aha. The stranger's your coldness itself, but to your allies, you're excessively soft. Oh yeah. That'd be the reason student council staff was so attached to you during middle school, huh? Almost as you were their beautiful, reliable older sister figure. Be quiet. That was most annoying to me, so don't speak of it. She's a tsundere. Mega tsundere. Whoa, sorry, it just slipped out. A mocking laugh spilled out of Soka. Thanks to her, she's made me remember what I wish to forget. Being considered reliable is fine, but I just liked having people become attached. There you go. Despite that, I had to deal with all the new middle school staff members tagging along after me, which was quite troublesome. So you've taken up Shijo's troubles. You said you'll investigate the 7 mysteries, but do you actually have a plan? If I didn't, I would have not gotten involved. Moreover, there is one thing I'm stuck on and would like to understand. What are you stuck on? The question is, why would she come to me? It's not as if I've ever been particularly close to Shijo-san after all. Tapped a finger to my lips and stared into space. I did so, Soka swallowed some words and then gave a short laugh. Shijo made a wish for someone to disappear, so when her letter really came back, she was surprised, right? Causing someone to just disappear due to your own playful wish would leave a bad aftertaste. I bet it's Akiya. Maybe not, but... So the first thing to do would go talk to that person that might just disappear and warn them, right? Yeah, there you go. Wait, you mean in other words... That's right, you. Speechless. And she finally gets it. Sorry, I accidentally skipped in. The person Shijo wanted to disappear was Tono Akiya. Even so, you took up the cause of explaining one of the 7 mysteries. Just shows you'd gather anyone to your breast. Even if those breasts are flat as a board. with unbelievable words that Soka added to that, then kept laughing. Jesus Christ, but... Yeah, there we go. Looks like we got a mystery to solve.